And my granddaughter, who's playing college sports, I asked her about this when we had this 2 years ago, and she said, you know what? If a trans woman was competing against me in the sport, then that just means if that person's better than me, I need to work harder.
Really, Dave? That's what your granddaughter told you? Man, this guy is a complete clown. Before we dive into this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you could please share so we can get it out there. Why is this stuff allowed to keep happening? Why are they perpetuating this false reality, this BS narrative? It will never be on the same playing field. And that's not trying to say men are so much more superior to women and all this stuff they rule over. As far as sports go, this is the case. You don't even need to take the top, say, basketball men. Take anybody off of any team, the 15th guy on the bench of, say, the Phoenix Suns, and put them up against the top WNBA player, she wouldn't score a point. Do the same thing with football. You see what they did? They try to have some of the women from college, they come out and they kick the opening kickoff, then they instantly run off the field. Could you imagine some woman trying to play receiver, quarterback, running back, or hell, even on the defensive end? None of this stuff will ever happen. So his granddaughter, oh, I just need to work harder. So say she's into weightlifting and she maxes out at 150, but this dude comes along and he's at like 325. So you mean to tell me she's going to make up that extra 150 plus and she just needs to work harder? Is that the way life's really going to work? This is just completely ridiculous. You're selling a false sense of reality, and it's just so demeaning to these young girls, women that are just coming up trying to make it on their own. This is why you have certain weight classes in boxing. This is why you couldn't have, say, a Floyd Mayweather against a Mike Tyson. This is why there's all these divisions in UFC and all this stuff. It's meant to be this way to try to level the playing field. You just saw right now there's some cyclist event. I don't know if it's overseas. Who cares? The two transgender females, right? The two men, they qualify in first and second place. And then there's a woman sitting there on the third just looking like, man, why am I even here? Completely dominating, swimming, all this other stuff. And it's going to continuously happen. And you got fools like this are just saying, you just need to work harder. That's really going to get it done. And all this stuff is going to start coming out when you start seeing them, when they start opening up that gap for them to come into, say, like boxing. And it's going to be like on an undercard because boxing's become so irrelevant. For one, they don't, make the matchups that people want to see. It's all a money game. They just, especially with the heavyweights, they play all these games. There's going to be a time for the women. It's going to be on the undercard in front of the whole world to see. And some dude is going to beat the brakes off a woman to send her into the hospital where she's going to remain a vegetable for the rest of her life. And then that's when you're going to see the switch. That's when everybody's going to be like, hold on, I think we have a problem here.
Then that just means if that person's better than me, I need to work harder.
When somebody seriously gets hurt, because I know they had like a little instance in the UFC. No, I'm talking about where somebody gets put into a vegetative state, because that's what would happen if you had women on the field, say in the NFL. They know that. That's why there's only a certain limit that they'll go. But I think boxing's going to be the one to swing that door open, and that's what's going to end up happening. It's going to change everybody's perspective. This is ridiculous. Dave should be ashamed of himself, and he should keep it real with this granddaughter and say, listen, you need to be on the same playing field with the rest of the girls. That's the way that's the way it should be set up. This individual should be in a whole nother sport. Let them have at it. Or they can even create their own little division and they can go at it, and nobody will complain then. If you do it like that, nobody will complain. But mixing and matching and having them in the sport completely dominating these women.
I'm gonna roll up the other women here and I'm gonna smoke them. I am the strongest woman this state has ever seen.
Where they have no chance whatsoever. People are sick and tired of saying, just seeing this, period. And a lot of the women are just too afraid to speak out because they already know what's going to happen if they speak out. They're going to lose sponsorships. They're going to be shunned. That whole community is going to come crashing down on them like a damn tsunami. So they're petrified to speak out. You see the same thing with the beauty pageants. You see what's going on with that. They had the thing with the Dylan Mulvaney, but I guess that was some kind of like little LGBT, some event, some like kind of woman of the year, but for their own category. That's fine. If they have their own category, do what you want. But you're going to start seeing this more in the Miss Universe, the Miss America, and now they're just giving out trophies just to give it out. And just people, the women themselves need to speak out again until they start standing up and they say, listen, we're not even going to start the race. Say in the cycling event, if they saw that and they just sat back and they said, you know what, let them two race. They can have it. Then you'll start to get the change. But all the women need to stand up instead of just letting this they're completely getting themselves mangled for what?
Hush up, boy.
Because we already have all the evidence. I'm talking about the weightlifting, the swimming, these cyclists. You even saw the Team USA, right? These are the professional women of soccer, got beat by like 15-year-old boys in a scrimmage. That shouldn't even be close, and they got completely smoked. Didn't Serena Williams get mangled by like the world-ranked 82nd tennis player? It's just they're not on the same. They're not trying to say they're less than and they're weaker or whatever. It's just completely different. Muscle mass, density, just stamina. Everything is completely different. And they know that. But they want to keep pushing this narrative. And the female sports, women's sports in general, is going to completely diminish because of it. Just you watch.
And I want to tear you apart. And your friend too.
So tell me your guys' thoughts on all these women records just getting completely smashed, getting completely dusted. And Dave should be ashamed of himself lying to his granddaughter like that. Oh, you know, if you just keep working hard and, you know, you're going to finally get there. It's complete BS and he knows it and will sit there and bold-faced lie to her. He should be ashamed of himself. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you could please share so we can get it out there. And I will catch you guys on the next one.